Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And I'm getting kind of a late start today. It's 6:34, and it's already almost dark outside. Welcome to fall and winter, I guess. And my husband just left to go to a basketball game with his brother, so I thought I would sit down and make a meditation video. I have all of my usual suspect meditation books over here with me right here. I pulled a couple of them. I kind of skimmed the titles of the meditations for today. But I first wanted to read from my recovery meditation book that I read every morning for myself. Most 12-step programs have a meditation book that is kind of like a sister meditation book that goes along with their program. And so I have several from several different 12-step programs, and I read from a couple of them every morning. But this one today, it really, and it's interesting because this was my mom's, and she has so many things in here highlighted and underlined and everything. And when I read today's meditation, or the thought for today, it really struck me as something that I think I talk about over here on a regular basis, but they said it in a really fantastic way in the meditation. And so I wanted to talk about it. It's also, I think, they say it in a way that, you know, I talk a lot about changing over here and growing as a person and growing as a human being. And I thought that it addressed our past in a way that is really one of the promises of working a 12-step program. It is one of the results of working a 12-step program. It's also one of the results of just working on being a better person if you're not in a 12-step program and trying to grow and be a better version of yourself on a daily basis. So I wanted to read from this meditation before I started with the others today. It says, "I have learned how to be honest. What a relief. No more ducking or dodging. No more tall tales. No more pretending to be what I am not. My cards are on the table for all the world to see. I am what I am, as Popeye used to say in the comics." And this is the part right here that I love so much. "I have had an unsavory past. I am sorry, yet. But it cannot be changed now. All that is yesterday and is done. But now my life is an open book. Come and look at it if you want to. I'm trying to do the best I can. I will fail often, but I won't make excuses. I will face things as they are and not run away. Am I really honest?" And I thought it was such a great meditation because some of the things that we talk about in recovery are, you know, honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness as being like three personality traits that you really have to have in recovery to have any kind of growth whatsoever. And so I love any kind of discussion of honesty within the realm of personal growth or recovery or whatever. And I think there's, you know, honesty as far as like being like a liar that just lies about like, did you brush your hair today? Or, you know, were you at a certain place at a certain time? I think there's those kind of lies. And then I think there's lies that we say even to ourselves, you know, about, or we say to others about, are we okay? Or how are we doing today? And I talked about this recently. I think it was over here actually, about a period of my life that I was really, really struggling and I wasn't doing okay. But yet every day when I was asked, I would say, oh, I'm fine, right? I'm fine. Just on and on and on. And that I was dying inside. I was really dying. And so I think it's really about complete honesty, you know, of where you're at today, what's going on in your life and all of that. I also love the fact that it addresses the past, right? Because, you know, like my old sponsor used to say, the past is like spilt milk. There's nothing that you can do about it. But you can own it and be accountable for it. And not just say like, you know, it's kind of funny because this is like kind of like the drama video stuff, but not just to say, I don't know who that person was, I'm not that person, but to say, I'm not that person today, I've grown and I've changed, but really looking at who was I back then? Why did I think that those things at that time were okay? Or did I think that those things at that time were okay? Because I can tell you, when I was using back in the day, I did a lot of scrupulous things that I did not think were okay at the time. I knew they weren't okay, you know? But today I'm not that person, you know? Today I've grown a lot and I take pride in that. I really do. But I also have to be aware of the lessons that I've learned and how I got to where I'm at today because I don't ever want to go back to that place again. I just don't, you know? In fact, I was talking to my best friend the other day and we were talking about early sobriety and I was like, I guess I forget sometimes, even though I talk about it so much in my videos and everything, I forget sometimes what it was like way back then, and what a struggle it was just on a daily basis. Not just not to drink and use, but to be a better person, to be a kind person, to be a caring, compassionate person, to not be selfish and self-centered, right? To right the wrongs of my past, to take the lessons I had learned and apply them on a daily basis. So I think it's a really valuable meditation to look at that and ask yourself, how honest are you being today? Do you shy away from talking about your past and those things? Or are you willing to say, yeah, and this is what I thought at the time, and I can't even believe that I thought that at the time. Like, that's crazy to me, and my opinions really changed, and this is how my opinions changed, and this is how I've grown as a person, and this is why I think that today, Like, let me, just as an example, and I know a lot of people don't have issues with like swearing and cussing, and I still swear and cuss. I do. It was funny because I had this conversation with my best friend on the way to our meeting this week. We were talking about cussing, and I said I've been really, really working on it in the last year or two, to not cuss as much as I used to. And then like 3 sentences later, I said like the F-bomb, And so I'm not a perfect example. I'm still growing, right? But like, I really have made a conscious effort of it. And, lost my glasses. And, being on YouTube really kind of helped with that, because I try to edit my language on YouTube and not use profanity. But I go back to what I remember my mom saying back in the day. And she used to say to me a lot, she'd say to me like, I cussed a lot, like all the time. And she would say, please don't use that language around your mother. And she would say, and she would joke, and she'd say, I think you're hanging out with those old guys too much at the meetings, because they cuss and, drink coffee and all that, and, that's their life. So anyway, there was probably some truth to that. But my mom would say to me, be careful of the words that you use, not just swear words, not just cuss words, but be careful of the words that you use. And I've learned in the last couple years, also the tone that you use. Are you speaking aggressively? Are you speaking softly? How are you talking? Are you direct? Are you firm in what you believe, and how that's communicated? But my mom would say, be careful the words that you use, because when you swear or cuss or use profanity all the time, people stop hearing what you're saying, and they only hear how you're saying it. Now, I'm not talking about throwing in a cuss word every once in a while. Hell, my mom, hell, I said. My mom, is hell a swear? I don't know. My mom was good for a cuss word every once in a while, But like, I think about that now. It's like the times that my mom would like throw an F-bomb out there were so rare that it wasn't funny, but it was like, okay, like she really seriously means this, right? And I think that's what she was talking about, was that when you cuss all the time, it's just like, oh, like, have you ever known the person that just like, oh, effing this and effing, I was that person, right? And so people really stop hearing what you have to say when you have important things to say, and they're only listening to how you say it. And I do believe there's a lot of truth to that, I do. And so I really tried to, I don't know if necessarily speak in a more eloquent manner, but I've really tried to have my words mean more, in the last year or two, and really think about how I'm saying things, like what's the tone, what are the words that I'm using, things like that. And I think it's important too, And so I think that just is one example for me, is like looking at my past. My past is an open book. I was somebody that used to cuss and swear all the time, okay? And I don't want to be that person today. I don't want to be this person that my mouth is filled with cuss words and swears, and I just don't, and I don't want my tone to be angry and negative. I don't want that, So I think it's a really good lesson, and I really liked that meditation this morning. So if you are in a 12-step program and you didn't know that there are meditation books that go with every 12-step program, you can Google that stuff. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know. I'm sure you would know that if you're in a 12-step program. But anyway, I like that meditation for today. Okay, let's read from another meditation book. There was one about gifts. I'm like dropping everything today. I think this one is about joy. Let's read from the Melody Beatty book, because I think it's about choosing joy. October 23rd. Dun, dun, dun. Cherish joy. October 23rd, cherish joy. Choose joy, then cherish and savor it. Joy is not a fleeting emotion based on outward circumstances, a transitory feeling of the moment, a reaction to the scenery around you. It comes from within your heart, like the waterfall that rushes out the side of a mountain. Joy is a runoff from the wellspring within you, and sometimes it is a delightful, surprising contrast to the scenery around you. Embrace joy, relish it. Even if those around you don't have it right now, you can feel your joy. You don't have to be disrespectful of their feelings, nor do you have to let their lack of joy diminish yours. You have done your work. You have chosen to open your heart. Now you have your reward. Cherish joy. It's your treasure. You found it. You've earned it. It's yours. I think, I talk a lot about this, about choosing to be content, choosing to be happy. I was talking about that the other day. But I think so often in life, so many of us, I think, are, wired to see the glass as half empty instead of half full. I really, really struggled with that for a long time. I would wake up and everything that I had to do during the day was just like, oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, I don't want to do this. It was almost my mantra to say, I don't want to do this, And it was like everything was just like laborious. Instead of looking at things and saying, wow, I'm happy that I have the opportunity to do this. Wow, I am happy that I was asked to do this, or that I have, the money to pay to do this, or whatever, or that I even, you know what I'm saying? Or that I can get up today and I can walk around, or I can talk, or I can see, those kinds of things, And that's where gratitude is such a big piece of that. And it's almost like changing the way that you think. And I had to do that years ago, where I really, because my husband had asked me, he said, I want you to be happy and a smile on your face every day for the next year, something to that effect. And, I really had to work on it on a daily basis. I really had to change that wiring in my head of stopping seeing things as half empty and instead seeing them as half full. And I learned it through meditation books. I learned it through doing gratitude lists. I learned it through Melody Beatty, who I just read from. Her book 40 Days and 40 Nights, I'm thinking about reading that book in November. But the book where, she talks about paying it forward in gratitude and being thankful, sitting in this house that she didn't even like and being so thankful for this house that she didn't like. And it's really all about seeing things in a different perspective and choosing joy on a daily basis. We have enough misery. We have enough bad days that on the days that aren't bad, we should be choosing joy on those days. We should be choosing to be happy and joyous and free on those days and say, you know what, I'm really happy today, and I feel filled with joy at having these people in my life, or these animals in my life, or pets, or food to eat, or a house to live in, and whatever. And we should be so thankful for those things. At least I should be. So anyway, these were great meditations today. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.